Hello. It is Saturday. Just give me a second. I'm on both, well, I'm on a few different channels and I'm just sharing out to some followers. So just give me a second while I share. Sharing is caring, so they say, right? And there, I shared it to a couple. I don't have to share it to everybody. Those that are meant to show up and see it will show up and see it. That's just the way that it goes. Mm-hmm. Sure. Good enough. I shared it to a few. All righty. How are you doing? Say hi. Say hi. I have to get my desk switched around just a little bit. I don't normally go live at 7:00 on on Saturday nights. I usually go live in the morning, but today I decided to switch it so that I would I would do it at night. And I forgot. I forgot today was the day that I was switching to evenings. So I was just like, okay, cool, just doing whatever. And then all of a sudden I looked and I was like, oh, it's 10 to 7. I'm going live at 7. I better get to it. So here I am. So yeah, I'm just going to give it a little bit. Let some people show up. Hello, hello. I'm going to do a collective reading with my tarot cards and check in on the energy for the collective. And then we're going to do a global meditation. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time waiting to get started. I am broadcasting on multiple channels. So I want to get going for those that are watching on time. So we're going to get started right shortly here. All right, I'm going to do some tappity tap tap taps. Hello, hello. How are you? Hello, how are you? I'm going to do the collective check-in, and then we're going to do the return to center global meditation. Okay. Yeah. New beginnings, right? New beginnings. Hello, hello. Alrighty. I think that at the 3-minute and 33-second mark, that's when I'm going to start on the cards, and we'll see what we get for the general reading for today. And yeah. Hi, Chrissy. How are you? Hello. How are you doing? There we go. 3:33. All right. Let's see what the cards are saying for the collective right now. What's the energy that we're dealing with currently, Spirit? Can I get a good message for the collective? I like those two. Hi, Mia. Oh, I'm getting the 5 a bit, but I think it's because that's a very beautiful gift. All right, we've got a bunch now. Plus, I got some on the floor. Oh. Okay, let's sort them. All right, these two in the inverted. That one, this one, and that. All right, let's see what we have for the cards in the reverse and see what energy that is giving us. So let's start with fire. With fire, and this being the 6 of fire, what this card is saying when it's in the reverse is that there may be something that's an inner victory, but you're not really seeing it out on the surface yet. You may be, go Habs, go. You might be having some self-validating. Maybe you're not seeing the validation external, right? So it's more of an internal thing, but it could also be that you're feeling that you have imposter syndrome. And a lot of people struggle with imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to do this? And I've struggled with that in the beginning. And especially when you're stepping into a different space that isn't so mainstream, right? Everything that you do that's outside of mainstream, it's something that people are already going to look at you as different or separate or opposite. And so that can put that imposter syndrome a little bit more in the forefront, right? That you could be experiencing that a little bit more. And you could also be fearing the spotlight because maybe you have some ancestral or, past life trauma that has, where you've experienced that, where you've experienced being in the spotlight and that resulted in like persecution or something. That's the energy of this. So when we're looking at this and it's applied to the collectively, there are a lot of people that haven't started doing what they came here to do because they're afraid of being, being ostracized from the collective, or they have this feeling of imposter syndrome that they're dealing with. Okay, so that's something that the collective is dealing with. The other card that we had in the inverted position or in the reverse position is the Lover's card. And the Lover's card is major arcana number 6. It also represents the sign, the astrological sign Gemini. So when it's in the reverse, it's speaking of like this disharmony, an imbalance in relationships. It can be speaking of a misalignment, a fear of vulnerability, or choosing out of fear, not love. And I think we can really see this dysfunction within society now, whether that's seeing relationships that are out of alignment, which there's definitely a misalignment between, the people and the top 1%. There's a huge misalignment with that. And, if we get down into the nitty gritty of it, where maybe we're still seeing things in separation and division and polarity, like a lot of people are, then we might even be looking at it as, there's a misalignment between the left and the right, or there's a misalignment between, all of these, because that's what they're driving, is that misalignment, that dysfunction. They want that division and that polarity. So we're too busy fighting each other that we're not doing anything else. So we have to look away from that stuff and start to focus on the truth and what's important and what is balance and what is harmony and what does right relationship look like. So this is the energy that we're dealing with the collective. Oops, I went to the bright cards. We're not ready for that yet. Okay, so we also had the Queen of Earth in the shadow, so in the inverted position. And when it's in the reverse, it's neglecting yourself. It could be either in that sense of neglecting yourself or overextending yourself to other people, to your job, to your work. And I think for a lot of us, if you're not seeing it show up, then you're just not working hard enough. You're not doing enough. So a lot of us have that perspective drilled into us, or that belief system that you are only productive as long as you're producing. You're only worthwhile as long as you're producing. That your value is tied to your productivity. Right? A lot of us have that ingrained in us, and whether that's through narcissistic relationships or just society's viewpoint, right? In school systems, we were trained to fear failure. That was what we were trained, a lot of things, but one of the things through the school system, we were trained to fear failure. And so a lot of us don't take that step forward because of that. So we have, also, the fact of the Queen of Earth is in the reverse position, is she can represent financial instability. And a lot of us are experiencing that right now. And it's going to be important for society to come up with new ways to support each other, where maybe we skip out part of the equation, right? And so you're going directly one-to-one and sharing things or exchanging things. That's what might be something that we have to look at some point. And it can also be that you feel like you are disconnected from abundance or from nature. And a lot of us are, like, when you think about the people that live in cities and, they work in a square building, they go in a car, they drive to work, they spend their time inside this building, and then they go back home and they spend that time inside that building. And so there's a lot of people that have don't have a connection to nature, right? And we need that connection to be reminded that every bit of life out there is important for us to connect with and to harmonize with, because we are a part of the all. So the other cards that we had in the reverse, we had the Empress. So the Empress, when she is in the inverted or reversed position, it can mean that there's blocked creativity, a lack of self-care, emotional imbalance, feeling disconnected from abundance again, or love in this situation. So I think that a lot of people are collectively feeling disconnected. Right. And I know that in the awakening journey that there becomes a point in time when you do become disconnected. You become disconnected from society because you see it for what it is, you know the truth, and it's hard to interact with individuals that have no clue at all about anything that's going on. It's really challenging. So many people isolate themselves through that. People also isolate themselves when they're healing because they need the opportunity to go within, and they need the opportunity to not be interacting with people who maybe are causing more trauma. Like, that's an important thing as well. So there could be that isolation, but I mean, for the most part, we just feel disconnected through our process, but also disconnected because that's what society wants to make us feel. They want to make us think that we are so different from each other. That because of all these differences that we can't possibly interact, or that we can't possibly connect to one another. And that's not the truth, right? They've done a lot of studies where they they've done, they used to have a commercial where they'd ask all these people all these questions, and you'd see these different little groups form. So one person, they would say, people who say work from home would be a category. People who had children, people who had experienced, certain things. And as they did, the people kept moving around and forming these groups. And what it's showing is that you have more in common with people than you realize. But society is built on making you hate each other and be divided. It wants children divided from parents. It wants parents divided from each other. It wants people divided from their families. It wants women divided from men. It wants parents divided, like adults divided from children. It wants rich divided from poor. It wants colors divided from each other. Like, it's just a big division game. And that's what labels do. But when you stop looking at all of those things and identifying with, I am this identity, and you start to peel away all of those identities, that's when you realize that at the core, we all are the same, and we all ideally want the same things. And, safety, freedom, food, a roof over your head, things that are inherent to all life. All right, the last card that was in the reverse position is the Death and Rebirth card. And when it's in the reverse, it means that there's a resistance to change, or this fear of letting go. There's maybe stagnation, clinging to the past. And when you're clinging to something, you're holding yourself to the past. It doesn't matter what you're clinging to. If you've identified that something within your life does not align with you, whether it's a job, a relationship, a belief system, a habit, if you've identified that that's not aligned with you or your highest self, as long as you keep doing that, all you're doing is clinging to the old identity, or you're clinging to the past in order to maintain that identity, right? And oftentimes that's fear. There's a lot of fear in moving forward, whether that's fear of failure because, like I said, through the school system, we're inherently taught to fear failure, or if it's because of fear of success. One of the things that we innately know is when we become successful, we have to say goodbye to certain people. We have to say goodbye to identities. We have to say goodbye to habits. We have to say goodbye to all kinds of things when we're changing our identity, right? Because there's a lot of things that are part of our previous identity that we have, like, that is part of what we have to let go of. Okay, so that's part of it. All right. And this could be, there's just a delay in the transformation. And so you're participating in that. What is the patterns that you're consistently seeing in your life, and what are you doing to change them? Because if every day looks the same, then your future is going to be the same as today, right? You're not doing anything to change anything. All right, let's see what our next cards are that are upright. Hello, Midlight Purple and Cuddles. How are you, love? And hello, how are you? Okay, so the next card is the 5 of fire. To several people, actually, I'm broadcasting on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Okay. So we have the 5 of fire, and this is one of my favorite cards. And the reason why I like it is because of the message that it gives, right? When we look at conflict, many of us look at conflict and it scares us. Or we look at conflict, and in order for us to say what's on our mind or to speak our piece, to have those tough conversations, for many of us, we have to get ourselves activated. We have to rev ourselves up so that we can have that conversation. But what happens then is that because you've you've jacked yourself up, you've got yourself into that activated state, you're not regulated anymore. So then the conflict is definitely going to expand. But if you look at conflict, not as something to fear, not as something that you have to like activate yourself in order to have, but if you look at it as an opportunity for change, for transformation, if you look at it as an opportunity for growth, then conflict becomes a crucible for transformation. And that's what the 5 of fire is asking you to do, is to look at the conflicts that are happening in your life as an opportunity to identify things that need to change, and then taking the action on those change, because that's going to give you the passion to do so, the fire. All right, we've got the 4 of air. The 4 of air could mean that you're not resting. And sometimes when we rest, we think that we're resting. Right. We think that I'm sitting down in front of Netflix and I'm flicking through the channels, or I'm on my phone and I'm scrolling. And we get caught up in thinking that that is somehow rest, but it's not. You need to disconnect from all interactions and actually just be with yourself. That's rest. There's many better ways to rest than TV. So the 4 of air is also speaking of overthinking. Remember air as the mental element. So when we have that busy energy, is that overthinking. And it can also be that you're avoiding doing what is necessary for healing, because healing actually happens in the stillness. We can go out and get all kinds of information from our therapist, and that's all great. And sometimes we'll even get a aha or a profound moment. But it's in the moments when we're at home, when we're doing our breath work, when we're doing the meditation, when we're doing the mindfulness, when we're doing the actual day-to-day, when we're standing on what we know, right? When we're embodying the truth, that's when the healing's actually happening. It's in those moments when you're having anxiety and you have to stare at those thoughts and actually control them and work through it. When you have to do the shadow work, that's when you're going to move through the healing. So when the mind is calm in those still moments, that's when you get the wisdom to surface, and that's when you can take and make action going forward. That's more in alignment with you. Just hang on one second. Get my tea. Boop. So if you feel like there's a pause in your healing journey because you're not or you're not actively doing things, or even in your spiritual journey, right? There has to be moments of stillness where you're just integrating what you're learning. And that gives you the opportunity to also prepare for what's next, right? And what we're supposed to be doing in those moments is really working on our nervous system and the capacity to hold more, and the capacity to move through whatever it is that you've experienced in your traumas. That's almost too hot. All right. We have the 5 of water. The 5 of water in the upright is talking about emotional loss, regret, disappointment. Like, it's all of that emotional energy. And remember, those 5s are challenges, or they could be competition or conflict. And like, those are the types of energies that the 5s represent. So this is an opportunity for healing, because this is, instead of focusing on what is gone, you're going to learn, or this is the card that's reminding you, hello, Brandon, is the card that's reminding you that you need to focus on what's actually working in your life, focus on what's actually going well, focus on what you've overcome, right? Focus on the good that's happening within life. Okay. So the five of water teaches you that loss is a part of the human experience, but it does not define you. Even in the darkest moment, light remains. Look for the hidden blessings and trust that healing is taking place. All right, the next card that we have in our collective reading is the Nine of Air. The Nine of Air is in the upright is an anxious energy, right? We're back to the air energy. So this is me, like there's that definitely that pervasive energy of overthinking, of staying in that spot, not taking and making action. Now, we just went through Pisces season and it just became Aries season today. In fact, if you look at the living sky, it transited in the sun just went into Aries today. But that energy of Pisces was a slower, more introspective energy of integrating what you were healing, whereas Aries is the energy of now let's move forward. So we're going to have that forward movement happening now, and we also Mercury is no longer in retrograde either, so we have more movement in the forward direction. So the Nine of Air teaches you that worrying is a misuse of imagination, right? That instead of feeding fears, that you should try to focus on the things that are working, or focus on the positive things, or even just orient your mind towards solution and trust that the outcomes are going to be what you need them to be. Overall, you have to understand that you are stronger than your shadow. No matter what, you are stronger than your shadows. You just need to let them dissolve in the light of awareness, right? So it's bringing your awareness to the shadows, like to the things that hurt you, to the shames that maybe you stored. And oftentimes the shames were stored not because you deserved or you should have in any way been ashamed of anything. It's oftentimes misplaced, right? So that's something to keep in mind. And then we have the page of fire. I almost said I was having a hard time. I was going to say the other elements, but anyway, the page of fire. So this is inspiration. This is creativity. This is new opportunities and a call to adventure. Pages are newness. These are longer term things that are going to be happening when we get the page, because we're at the level of a royal suit. So it's longer term, and the pages are all new beginnings because it's the first one in that session. So it's the page of fire is the reminder to trust the fire within, take the leap and explore new possibilities. And of course, let your passion lead the way, right? And that's how we're meant to move through it. Anyone that has Aries rising would want to follow their heart and allow that passion to move them, as opposed to, say, following their mind and running after that path, right? Because the heart is going to lead you in the direction of what's really, truly aligned with you. All righty. How's everybody doing? How are you doing, Midnight? Haha. Nice. Venus is actually in Aries right now, according to the living sky. And when Venus is in Aries, that means that you know what you want with your desires. You know exactly what you want. And is that in tropical astrology, or have you done true sidereal before? Like, have you looked at the living sky when you I'm doing well. I have the window open, which is really nice because it's evening, but it got really hot in here, so I had no choice. I almost forgot that I was going live later today, so I almost missed my own live, which was funny, but I remembered 10 minutes beforehand, so I had to rush around really fast to get everything put together. But yes, that's what I work with. I work with the sidereal. Yeah, it is. But when you look at the whole thing, I'd love to do a reading sometime, but when you do the whole reading, it's beautiful. It aligns with me so much more. So I have created a few different decks, and that's one thing that I've displayed a few of them. One of my favorites, besides the Ethereum Tarot, is the 44 Keys of the Way. And I love these. So I'm going to, hello, Miranda, how are you? I'm going to shuffle and grab a couple cards from the Way. But then I wanted to talk about a new deck that I have, and I haven't done the pictures on it yet. So we'll see. All right, we got one card from the Keys. Oh, and the other one. All right, we've got two cards. That should be good. And they're new. I think, I don't know if we've handed these ones out before or if I've had these on there. Okay. So the first card is the clear path. I did bump the table there. The clear path. And the clear path, the affirmation is, I release what is not mine, so the path becomes clear. And the remembrance is, many burdens are inherited, not chosen. Releasing them is not loss, it's restoration. As layers fall away, direction reveals itself without force. Clarity is what remains when interference is removed. Practice. Write one pattern to release. Read it aloud once, tear the page and discard, and then take 3 slow breaths. So that's that card. And then the other card that came out is the living wisdom. And the affirmation, wisdom grows through lived experiences. The remembrance, information becomes wisdom when applied. Testing refines understanding. Feedback completes the loop. Practice. Apply one idea today. Observe the results and then adjust it once. Thank you. I love it too. I was very proud of myself when I did all the pictures on these and painted them. And, you know, I was very proud of myself when I did all the pictures on these ones as well. It's just been it's been a great journey. Thank you. It's been a great journey. I've got new cards, but I haven't put any pictures on them. I just have them written down. I wrote out all the cards and now I have to do the pictures. I get to do the pictures. I don't have to. I get to do the pictures. So I'm running through a couple of ideas, whether I'm going to paint them or whether I'm going to do them in Procreate. I'm not sure yet. But I'm going to pull cards from them anyway, even though there's no pictures. Okay, so these will be like secret cards. And so for those of you that don't know, I started out with, I was a trauma and mental health specialist. I was a nurse, and then I went into trauma and mental health, and then I started my company. And I actually started my company as I went into trauma and mental health. I was doing it on the side and then working in a addictions and mental health facility. So I was working there doing the trauma program, and I'm trying to think why I was thinking about that. And so when I started doing it, I was doing, trauma talk was what I used to call all my stuff. It was trauma talk. And I would do cards and give people clarity and work through that space with them utilizing cards. I stepped away from the cards last year. And like I said, I wanted to do my own cards for a while. And once I created them, then I didn't want to use anybody else's. So now I'm so happy that I have the cards, and I'm bringing that back into stuff that I'm doing because I find them very useful. All right. So I did pull 2 cards from my new deck, which is Return to Center. And eventually I'll have the pictures for the Return to Center. So there's no pictures. They're just all the backs of watercolor paper. And so the first card that came out is Awareness, from the section Awareness, and it's called Your Attention is Fragmented. And what that means is that your focus is split. Multiple inputs are pulling your attention in different directions, reducing effectiveness and increasing strain. If you're being pulled in a whole bunch of different directions, you are not giving your 100% to anything, right? You're giving just bits of you. So that means you're not giving the level or quality of work or the quality of stuff. You're not creating that. So the embodiment practice for this is to close all but one task. So just go down to one single task and just focus on a single point of attention, right? And that's going to help to streamline, and the stuff that you're going to be creating is going to be even better. And that doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if you're on your healing journey, I got ink on my hands. That's what I was doing. Even if you're on your healing journey, right? If you're if you're thinking about, tomorrow, and you're thinking about a conversation with your friend, and you're trying to think about what you need to make for dinner, and you're trying to think about your kids' homework, and you're trying to, like, if you're doing all of those things in your mind, and you're like trying to do all these activities at the same time, you can understand how you're not giving quality to any one of those things. You're giving half, quarter, a little bit here, a little bit there of any of your energy, your focus, any of it, right? So it's important that, if you can close it down and just give your focus to one thing at a time, you'll move through that task much quicker. It'll turn around to be a lot better at the end, more quality, but also by the time that you're done, you'll process through everything a lot faster, right? A lot faster. Okay, so the second card that came out is Reconnection, or from the section Reconnection, and it's called This Moment is Enough. So it says, stay here. Seeking beyond the present reduces clarity and creates pressure. The current moment contains what is needed for the next step. So the embodiment practice is to bring full attention to your immediate environment and body. So once again, the two of them together is just to streamline your focus into one thing, and then to be in this moment, being very aware of the environment and yourself. And I think those are beautiful messages for us. All righty. So today is the day that we do the global meditation. It's going to take me a minute to get set up for that. And then we'll do that. The global meditation is just to send out that wonderful peace, love, trust, and unity to the world, while we also support Mother Gaia and all other life forms, all other energies, all other beings. At the same time. I did not set my stuff up. You can tell that I did this in half an hour because everything is just, it's where it is. All right. Mariti. All right. Let me get my phone so we can get the right music on. I have to look at a good one. Give me 1 second. So I'll keep talking a little bit about it, just to give you some instruction, because that is always a good thing. So when we're doing the meditation, one of the things that we're going to be doing is breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. We're going to breathe in through our nose all the way into our belly, and then we're going to breathe out through our mouth, nice and slow, extending the exhale. And when you're lowering your nervous system, like you want to exhale longer than you inhale, typically. Now, the way that I like to breathe is doing heart-focused breathing. It's nothing fancy. It's not fancy at all. So where we're breathing in and out, and we want to do a nice deep breath, with the heart-focused breathing, all you're doing is focusing on the energy or the breath coming in and out through the heart space. Okay. So we're just breathing in and out through the heart space. And the Heart Math Institute did studies on this since the 60s. And one of the things that they found was that 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out was the preferred rate by most people. Now, you can adjust it a little bit if you'd like and go 4 seconds in and 4 seconds out, or 6 seconds in and 6 seconds out. It's whatever is comfortable for you. So that's all we're going to do. We're just going to breathe in through our nose, into our tummy, out through our lips. And as we're doing so, we're just going to envision that the air is coming in through our heart and out through our heart. And I will take you guys on a little journey. And part of that journey is going to be to send peace and unity and all of that stuff to the world. I have one more thing. I'm sitting on my picture. So this is the flower of life. Okay. So this is the image. I'm like, not the moon's going around it. Just the center part. Look at my hair in my mouth. Oh my goodness. Okay. So the flower of life, that's that's the image that we're going to be envisioning. Okay. And so I'm just giving you that. Perfect. I love it. Itchy nose. Oh my goodness. My mom would have said, kiss a fool. Itchy nose, kiss a fool. Okay, so I have my music ready to go. You guys all have your stuff in a safe place because you got to make sure that you put your phone down so it's not going to fall over. And we're going to get ready to do this together. The more people that come together to send peace and unity and love and truth around the world, the more powerful that it is. Like, it's amazing how much energy, how much power that we have when we come together, right? Okay, so let's get the music started. You can tell me if it's too loud. Now make sure that you put whatever device that you're watching on in a safe space and that you've also got yourself positioned so that if you were to lose your consciousness a little bit, or not even your consciousness, it's more about like losing a little bit of muscle tone, right? And might drop your phone or something, right? So that's why, or you might like, just I've had meditations where I'm like jerking all over the place, like so I don't know what's happening for you as you're doing the meditation. So just make sure you're in a safe space and your phone's in a safe space. And I'm going to talk really quickly again because we're about to do the Return to Center global meditation for peace, unity, love, and truth. And we are going to focus on the flower of life as a sacred geometry symbol. And we are also going to be breathing in for 5 seconds and out for 5 seconds, envisioning that the air is going in and out through your heart space. And the beautiful thing about this is going to cause heart-brain coherence. And because we're doing it together, we're really going to connect into this beautiful field together. All right. First things first, close your eyes. And second thing, I'd like you to put one hand on your heart and the other on your navel, your belly. You can put it on your lower belly, or you can put it right where your belly button is, whatever feels comfortable for you. And we're going to begin by breathing in through our nose into our tummy, but envisioning it coming through the heart and out. In, out, in, out, in, out. Continue breathing in that pattern, or return to your normal rate of breath if you start to get lightheaded. As you continue to breathe in and out, I want you to focus on the space that comes up around you and lean into that space, allowing all the worries and the cares of the day to fall away. Before we share energy with other people, let's cleanse our own energy to make sure that what we're sending out is pure and there are no attachments. What we're going to do is open up a portal, so to speak, about 6 to 12 inches above your head. This is your soul star chakra. And when you open it up, you're going to open it up to pure source light. This beautiful source light is going to beam down upon you and your energy, all of it surrounding you, about 6 to 9 feet in circumference. And as this beautiful prime source light pours over your body and your energy field, is going to cleanse anything that is not in alignment with divine love, divine truth, divine peace. This aligns you with all that is source, all that is love, all that is divine. We'll sit here and allow that to cleanse us and disconnect any attachments or connections. And anything that's being detached or disconnected or cleared is only that which is not in your highest good. Anything that is aligned for you or aligned with all, as we are in unity consciousness. Whatever is not aligned with universal law, the prime source, Mother, Father, Divine, that is cleansed from us. Feel yourself lightening. Feel your energy clearing. Know that your aura is becoming much more clear and aligned. Once we are clear, we can now begin the meditation. From this aligned space, we can come together and create a beautiful connected node that is amplified beyond what one single node would be. Mother Gaia, the earth, has these beautiful crystal ley lines that run through and around, connecting every living being, every energy. And through these ley lines is how we can connect to one another, even though we're not close together or in the same room. And it's through these ley lines that we can send out energy and support. And when you think of the flower of life, the symbol I showed earlier, and if you're just joining or joined after, your higher self knows what the flower of life looks like, so it's fine if you don't. But think of that as a 3D structure, a globe, if you would. And it's running through the earth, around the earth, all these lines, that beautiful flower of life. Sacred geometry is more than just a shape. It is a universal law. And the law that is encoded within the flower of life is one that invokes the divine, original, organic blueprint. This is before distortion, before manipulation, before hijacked or inversion. This takes us back to origin. And by sharing that symbol together with Mother Gaia, imprinting it upon her through the ley lines, across all the nodes, we are sending that information to her and to all life, to all energy, to return to the origin before corruption. It reminds the entire energetic realm of the truth of divine masculine and divine feminine, and of Heros Gamos, the divine union. Allow that beautiful flower of life to imprint on every one of your cells. And as you see it going to that microstructure, know that it's being applied to the macro as well. As within, so without. As above, so below. Next, we are going to bring together the feeling of love. You can think about anything that you love in this moment to bring that emotion to your body and see yourself sending it through the ley lines to every single being that is open to receiving the gift of love. Next, we can call on the feeling of peace. And once again, imagine anything that allows you to feel peace in your heart, in your soul, in your body. And when you feel peace, send that out through the ley lines to every node and to every person, every energy, every being that is requesting to feel peace at this time. As we sit here together and connect in this beautiful way, we're going to share that unity, that connection, the knowledge that they are not alone, to all who seek to know that there is more beyond just them, and to know the truth of unity consciousness. We share that with them now. You are not alone. Next, I want you to envision your DNA double helix spiraling. And I want you to tap into your bones, deep into the marrow. These are record keepers. Your bones, the scaffolding, your DNA, the conscious keeper. As we tap into these frequencies, we can send the truth out across those beautiful ley lines to all the nodes, to all the beings, to whoever is looking for truth. Now that we have sent love, peace, unity, truth, as well as the divine organic blueprint, it's time for us to pull back to ourselves. And what I want you to do for your own protection now is to sense around your energy that there is a sphere. And if you imagine to yourself that that sphere is closed, so that energy cannot come in at will, that you have placed this boundary around yourself, I want you to sit with that for a moment, and then I want you to open it and feel how that feels when you open that barrier around yourself. And then I want you to close it again. When you're alone or in safe environments, you can have that open, your barrier open, and allow energy to flow into your energy. But when you go out in public, practice closing that barrier around yourself so that you're not picking up everybody else's energy. And when you come back home and you wash your hands, think about washing off the energy that you've picked up as well. Now I want you to focus on the hand that's on your heart and take a breath in. Focus on the hand on your abdomen. Breathe out. Focus on your feet. Focus on your nose. Take a breath in. Focus on the top of your head. Exhale, and then open your eyes. And welcome back. Nice to have you back. Let me know how you enjoyed that. I'm glad I was able not to cough. Hello, from Yag too. Yeah, how are you? I'm broadcasting on multiple channels, so I'm talking to multiple people. How did you find that, Midnight? This is a royalty-free song. It's meditation music. Yeah, it's meditation music. 432 hertz is what the frequency was with it. I enjoyed that meditation, even though it was from myself. Yeah, meditation music, 432 hertz. It's a royalty-free one. So what I search on YouTube for copyright-free music, and this one is part of, like, it'll say 21. Like, I think there's 21 songs in it, and it's in those songs. Yeah, I think it might say, yeah, lucid dreaming, theta waves, binaural beats, like that, the whole title. But yeah, copyright free music. Exactly. Copyright free frequency music. Sorry. Copyright free frequency music. Don't say that too many times too fast. But yeah, so that's that's what that particular soundtrack was. Copyright free frequency music. Yay. So I'll be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is the celestial briefing. We'll do an energy check-in with the cards, and we will then do a we'll do the check-in on the living sky and see what, oh yeah, the full title, right, is super long. Meditation music, 432 hertz, lucid dreaming, theta waves, binaural beats. It's a title. But yeah, I'll be back. We'll talk about the living sky, what's going to happen for the next week. And then after that, it will be Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. So Saturday is 7 p.m., Sunday is 6 p.m., and Wednesday is 6:30 p.m., all mountain time. So whatever time zone you're in, you'd have to convert it. But there we go. That's it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I love you. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining me for the meditation. Like I said, everybody that does it, the more powerful that it is. I'm going to take that meditation and put it on YouTube so people can watch it, can continue to watch it. And that's just adding more and more to it because time's an illusion, right? All righty. I love you guys. I'm going to go and get cooled down a little bit because it's very warm in here. And I will see you guys tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Love you. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. I gotta shut this one off first because these guys make noise. So give me a sec. There.